Hi everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of CATIA Design User Talk, the space where design vision meets real innovation. Today we'll see the kind of content that remind us why we love creative design. We'll explore what's new on the 3DEXPERIENCE R2026x release, serving the needs of our CATIA Creative Design community. And today I'm welcoming 4 guests on stage. First, François Aude, our CATIA R&D Design Creative Design Portfolio Director, Valerie MIDDENDORF, our Product Experience Roles Portfolio Engineering Manager, Aude MASSONI, our Creative Design Roles Portfolio Engineering Manager, and finally, Franck, our Creative Design Roles Portfolio Engineering Senior Manager. So whether you're a designer, an engineer, or you're just passionate about innovation, this session is for you. This session will show you the main features for inspiration and ideation with our role 3D Portfolio Board Presenter and modeling and sculpting functionalities offered in CATIA Creative Design Experience and Imaginate Shape application. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, hello everyone.
It's good to see you. Thank you for joining us today. As usual, I will kindly ask you to briefly introduce yourself. For those who don't know you, perhaps we can first start with François.
Sure, hello to the whole audience. So I'm pleased to be part of this webinar. I'm François Aude. I'm in charge of the portfolio of applications and roles from the CATIA R&D Creative Design team.
Thank you, François. Valérie?
Yes, hello everyone. So my name is Valerie Middendorf and I am also part of the CATIA Design Portfolio team. And in this team, I am responsible for the CATIA Creative Portfolio Board app, which is an app that was built for design ideation on a 2D canvas. And you will learn more about this app in this presentation. And we will also go into detail on the new AI functionalities that we have in this app.
Thanks, Valérie. Aude?
Yes, hello everybody. My name is Aude MASSONI. I'm part also of the CATIA R&D Design Portfolio team. As a creative designer, I'm an expert on our solution for 3D sketching, 3D concept modeling, and also immersive design.
Thank you, Aude. And finally, Franck.
Hello all, I'm Franck, part of CATIA Creative Design Portfolio team also. As a concept modeler and mostly involved in the subdivision surfaces topic with application like Imaginate Shape or Creative Design Experience.
Thank you everyone for this brief introduction. Before starting, I would just like to remind our viewers that they can reach out to us during this live presentation by asking their question in the chat, and we'll take some time at the end of the session to answer them. Let's move on now to the talk, as I think they're eager to share the main key highlights from the 3DEXPERIENCE R2026x release for the creative design process. The floor is yours.
Sure. So hello again, everyone. Our purpose in the CATIA Design Portfolio team is to provide you the necessary set of solutions to imagine, create, experience sustainable and delightful product experiences. And today we will focus on the new capabilities we offer in the R2026x GA release for the creative design portfolio. Through our portfolio, we provide a unified, integrated and powerful design workflow, starting by the ideation, creativity process, concept design, going to surface refinement, color and material definition and assignment, experience with the human for decision making, up to the interaction with the engineering departments. Today with the team, we will focus on the creative design and concept modeling phases. And as you know, in the creative design process, it all starts with the ideation. So I leave the end to Valerie.
Yeah, I guess we all know that in design, sometimes you just need a little spark for some more inspiration. And that is why we now have AI image generation within the Creative Portfolio Board app. You can find the Creative Portfolio Board app in the 3D Portfolio Board Presenter role. As of today, we can fulfill 4 use cases. So first of all, we can do concept ideation and refinement, meaning you can turn your very early design idea into something more detailed to estimate where you're going. You can do concept rendering and communication, meaning you can turn your early design concept into stunning visuals. You can do color and material ideation to get some nice moody images for mood boards for your color ideation, or you can do color and trim concept ideation to apply some colors with AI directly on your product to ideate where you're going. And how do we do that? So there are 2 approaches to AI image generation. First of all, the simple one to generate images from a panel. So that one is good if you just want to generate single images. So there's different styles you can use. You can in-paint on an existing image, or you can turn existing compositions into something else. For more complex image generation, we do have a node-based approach, and that works as follows. So here you can also see you have the nodes in the panel. You drag them onto your canvas and you put in a prompt, change some settings, and then you can generate your images. And the nice thing about this approach is that you can iterate on it. So here I use an image, plug it into a node, and turn the composition into something else. If I now want to edit the image and change something about it, so here, for example, I want to change the floor, I just point it out and plug it into a node. And now here you see I've changed the ground. And since we also have access to 3D space, we can bring in any 3D model we want and use that directly as AI input. So here we just plugged it right into the node and we get some images. And now I want to iterate more on my design. So I just draw on top of my image and use that as new AI input. So AI will take my idea and turn it into an image. And since we are in Creative Portfolio Board, we of course have access to all the other nice features of the app. So we can auto-arrange our images, or we can compare the different design variations that AI gave us. Yeah, so now that we've talked about the AI, I also don't want to miss out on the other news we have for the Creative Portfolio Board app. So now in 26x GA, we also offer some new templates, and there are different kinds of templates we have now. There are, first of all, mood board templates, and there are general whiteboard templates. And for the mood board templates, they are extremely helpful when you are working on a color concept. So what you can do, you can choose from a selection of ready-to-use templates. You bring them onto your canvas. You bring in your own images. You can refine the colors and the layout a little bit. Pick your own colors for your own color palette. And there you go. You just made a nice mood board. The other sort of templates we offer is basic whiteboard templates, just to keep some visual consistency or speed up your process. So you can choose from a variety of ready-to-use whiteboard templates, all kinds of stuff you might want to use in your project. And you can drag and drop it onto your canvas. And there you go. You can start right away. And that was it for Creative Portfolio Board. Then I hand back to Belizy.
Well, very inspiring new set of capabilities in Creative Portfolio Board application. And after the inspiration, it's time to go into the creative process based on our new and innovative application, Creative Design Experience, which is meant to serve the needs of you, creative designers, concept modelers, to explore your creativity from the sketching phases up to the very advanced concept modeling process. By mixing 3D sketching, 3D sculpting solutions, technology, and connection to science-based applications. It's time for me to give the end to Aude to start to present us the application and what's new in the release.
Thank you, François. So let's start with a first demo introduction on Creative Design Experience with an overview of 3D sketching user experience. So to design a new steering wheel, I'm able to sketch 2D sketches on a 3D plane, positioning space, and then quickly transform these sketches into a 3D complete sketches. This tool helps define the overall idea and proportion in the right final context. So here is the new subdivision curve technology. And with them, you can quickly build CATIA curve with a sketch as a reference. And here, if we focus on the handle, you see I'm able to sculpt curves and modify them with the gesture-based robot and transform them into 3D curves. So the next step would be to use the concept modeling tool on top of it, and you'll discover after some next step in the What's New content you are about to see. So now let's deep dive in the 2026x What's New release. You will discover new announcements that are coming to enrich our design application. So first, I'll give the end to Franck, so he will talk about first key highlights.
Thank you, Aude. And the first key highlight is the mesh tool, the introduction of mesh tool in creative design experience. To give you more freedom and more flexibility during your modeling phase, we introduce the mesh tool in creative design experience, allowing you to cut your model, your shape wherever you want. No need to add the full loop totally. And you cut also the model. If in this example, I have a triangle, as I prefer to have quad, I decide to use the mesh tool to transform my triangle in quad. And I can, or you can, continue your modeling phase by using other tools in creative design experience. We also introduce the merge command. You merge your vertices wherever you want by sliding on the edge or using the snap point on one of those vertices or directly in the middle of both vertices. A quick view of new modifiers or enhancement on one of those modifiers. So let's start with the crossing bevel and an enhancement on the bevel command. As you know, you can already enrich your model by using the bevel modifiers and use the dedicated panel to directly modify the profile and see the result in real time on your shape. And now we enhance the bevel with the capability to cross another bevel. Here, you create directly a new bevel. And by using the dedicated option in the panel, you can control the behavior of the cross level. It works also on the same way with T-junction. And we also improve the bevel more generally with new options like the symmetrical command to create quickly symmetrical bevel, and also the possibility to add weights on each vertices of the profile. Now I give the end to Aude.
Thank you, Franck. So we are also introducing a new geometric modifier that we call gap modeling that makes it possible to generate gaps details directly on subdivision surface models. So in the steering wheel example, you can begin by simply selecting a set of curves that define the path of your final gaps. So from the modifier panel, you also access and control different parameters. You have the thickness, the depth, and the fillet radius of the outer edge of the gap. So because it's a modifier, everything will stay fully editable all along the design process. For example, at some point, you can add new cutting inputs to the same modifier. So here, you can show a new subdivision surface here to define, for example, the opening for the steering wheel display. So at any moment, I can insert these new surfaces, and you will see it will take back the same parameters than the overall other gaps. So at any moment as well, thanks to the associativity between all features, you can bring back some input surfaces and modify them with the manipulation tool. So here, I select some vertices of the surface, and you will see that with the gesture base, I can simply scale them and visualize the modification that will be updated automatically afterward. So it will save a big amount of time during the design process. And instead of building manually each gap, you can here focus on exploring the design variation you want and simply adjust the parameters and switching inputs. It's, of course, faster and more flexible for your workflow. So let's look now to the new array pattern modifier. This one is a visual modifier that will allow you to instantly create array patterns on a single element or across an entire layer of elements. In this example, I want to quickly visualize a waving pattern, so I'm applying the array pattern modifier on my layer. I can directly manipulate the pattern using the englobing box you see in the 3D to define the size, or go inside the modifier panel to precisely control the step value between elements. I can then extend the pattern in 3 directions. Here I will only need 2. And once I'm satisfied with the design, I can scale up the number of instances from just a few up until 2,000. In this case, I will use 14 instances, which is enough to validate. So here the main advantage is, of course, the performances. Because it's visual, it's very lightweight, and it will allow you to handle very complex patterns with interaction. Here, I want to just update one part of my pattern, so I can do that, and you will see that it will benefit the overall pattern. You can update everything live. I think it's a huge benefit for you during the creative phase when you are exploring ideas. So now let's have a look to some enhancement in terms of user experience. So first, focus on Layers panel, where we enrich the contextual menu, now with icons in addition to text. So it's easier to navigate visually in the panel. We also worked a lot on the performances of this layer panel, and you will notice that when you do height show, it will be really fast. So now let's talk about snapping. We propose now to have a multi-selection for snapping. So for example, you can select different vertices and snap them on the same target together. And I want to present you a video about snapping for primitive. That also is a nice announcement for your creation workflow. So when I'm using primitive creation command, there is now a new shortcut that you can use to activate snapping with the M key. Once it's enabled, you see some snap targets around your cursor that is appearing, and you are able now to snap a primitive like a circle directly on top of existing vertices or curve or point. So it's making it much easier for you to create multiple primitives along different passes with precision and consistency. Can we have the next? Yes, thank you. So here is the quick takeaway of all what you discovered for the new functionality in Creative Design Experience for this 26 GA release. So more control and productivity for you with the mesh tool and gap modeling modifier. And also we wanted to provide you some advanced modeling command with the crossing bevel and the pattern array visual modifier. Now I will give back the end to François to continue on Imagine and Shape application, what's new. Thanks a lot.
As you all know, Imagine and Shape is a widely deployed application to serve the needs of the concept modelers based on the virtual clay modeling approach, taking full power and benefits of the subdivision surface technology. This application for many years is evolving mostly based on customers in production requirements, serving our users, whether you are in the V5 environment. So this year we are providing new capabilities for the V5-6 R2026 release of CATIA V5, but also customers using the 3DEXPERIENCE R2026x GA release. And I will ask Franck to introduce you the main 2 highlights of Imagine and Shape in those releases.
Thank you, François. So let's start with the morphing command. a new command in Imagine and Shape. When you are creating a shape, sometimes you want to do some modification without losing the first shape. Here, by using the morphing command, you decide when you enable the command, you decide to have this shape as a state 1, and by modifying directly with the tools of Imagine and Shape, you creating the state 2. And when you have the state 2, by just using the sliding, you are able to navigate between the both state of your shape and deciding which one you want to use and the best compromise of both shape. And the second enhancement, it's on the quality of your shape. Here, when you create a shape, sometimes you have some noise on the shape, vertices not at the good place, etc. We can see here an example. And by using this new harmonize command and selecting the grid gather of faces, I'm able, by using the slider, I'm able to regularize, harmonize all the base mesh to improve the quality quickly of the shape. And that's all for me and for Imagine and Shape. I give the end to François.
Thank you all for the discovery of these new capabilities we offer in our portfolio for you, creative designers and concept modelers. We hope you enjoyed it, and we stay tuned for any questions you might have.
Thank you everyone for this very insightful and detailed presentation. So as François said, now it's time for our Q&A session. We really encourage you once again to take advantage of our experts' presence to ask your questions. So please don't hesitate to ask your question in the chat and we will answer them. So do we have any question? Okay, perhaps we can first with one question. Can we cross bevels with different profiles?
Yes, we can cross different profile of bevel. If we create different bevel, as we can stack different bevel in the modifier panel, we can have different profile and we can cross directly different profile with different bevel.
Thank you, Franck.
You're welcome.
Another question about gap modeling. Is it possible to extract the different part generated by the gap modeling, for example, to apply different materials?
Yes, it's a good question. So the answer is yes. With a generative shape design application, we have a multiple extract command, and with it, it's really easy to select the area of the surfaces that you want to separate, and then afterward apply different materials or color to each part. So you retrieve this GSD command inside our Creative Design also application.
Thank you, Aude. Do we have other question in the chat? Perhaps a last question for image generation. What is the difference between the 3 image generation nodes?
Yes, so the image generation nodes we have in the Creative Portfolio Board app, they serve as kind of an operator. So each node will have its own functionality. And of course, there is a basic node, the basic image generation node that will just turn your prompt or your prompt plus input image into another image that more or less behaves as all the other tools we have on the market. So it's really basic image generation. We have a second node, which is an in-painting node. So this node, you need to kind of mask an area in your input image. And with the in-painting node, you can specifically generate new content in that area you masked. So it's very helpful for editing your images. And the third node we have is the ControlNet node. So some AI experts might have already heard that term. So what this node does, it takes your input image and it analyzes it for its composition, let's say. So it will take the outline of what is in your image and then apply your prompt to the outline. So you will stick to the composition you have, but generate something new out of it. So that's the main difference we have.
Thank you, Valerie. Before we'll close our Q&A session today, do you have any last question? Again, if you do have some questions later, you can ask your question in our CATIA Creative Design and Styling community. So don't hesitate. So I think for today, we'll close it. Thank you once again, everyone, for your time and participation. And a special thanks to all of our viewers who watched our CATIA talk today and who joined us. We hope that you appreciated this talk, replay of this talk, but also best practices, best tutorials, all the chance to communicate with our experts and to ask your question in the community. And if you haven't joined yet, simply create an account with an email and a password, then log in. Also, we will greatly appreciate your feedback, which will help us to improve our next CATIA talk. We look forward to seeing you again at our next CATIA talk. And until then, have a great day. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Have a great day. Bye.